All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. Boys, wow, what a weekend it has been. We are this close now to getting top four. You get a win here against Newcastle, and we are there. First of all, let's say massive hello to everyone that's joined in. They've been waiting for a little while. I just want to shout them out. Yusuf, my man, you've been a massive supporter, so thank you for that. Uzi or Aussie, I'm not really sure how you pronounce it. Aussie TV, Deep State, Ritam, thanks, my man, for being here. Yusuf again, and Dita, thanks for being here. And Amara Juiwa, thank you so much for all your support as well. And Data, 100% all your support. First of all, to my panelists here, how's everything going? Jonathan, my man?
Really good. Went for a nice run. Just looked at a load of stuff about Newcastle, so I'm really ready for this preview, 100%.
I've got a lot of stuff ready as well for Newcastle, so I'm ready to go. Nishal's just stepped out. I'm sure he'll probably come in. Taryn, how's things, my man?
Yeah, good to be honest. I just had a shower, watched the Arsenal game, which was actually really entertaining. I'm looking forward to this game. I've read some interesting stuff about Newcastle as well, so yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Brilliant, my man. It was an entertaining game against Arsenal. They ended up winning. I was hoping that there would be a nice comeback for Leeds.
Yeah, I thought.
Nonetheless,
I was expecting that.
This is what happens with Leeds. Nishal, we got to be worried. You dropped off. You're back again, just like my channel. Back again. Nishal, how's things, bro?
Yeah, I was okay. Just I realised the stream was playing in the background, so I could hear us doing a live in, and in the background I could hear the live recording on YouTube. So I just had to leave and sort that out. But I'm good, very well, and looking forward to this game and this preview.
Brilliant. All right, guys, let's bring this up. As we know, next up, as you can see, Chelsea versus Newcastle. We're at home. Timo Werner, nice picture of him. He's actually back. That's been confirmed by Thomas Tuchel. That was just a sort of like a dead leg, and so he's well and truly back. But first of all, let's start this conversation before we get into the press conference and what Thomas Tuchel had to say about a few things. I just want to talk about how excited each and every one of you guys are of the prospect that just a few weeks ago we were nowhere near top four. I know the points gap was not that much, 5-6 points away from Liverpool, but for me it felt like that 5-6 points was about 10-15 points because of the way we were playing. Nothing was sort of, I suppose, confirmed that moving into any match that we could actually expect to win. But now here we are, we get this particular win against Newcastle and we can get ourselves into top four. Liverpool, 3 back-to-back Premier League losses. Man United as well. I woke up this morning and they've dropped points as well. So they're in a bit of a trouble too. I believe, and we'll get to the Premier League table very soon. I believe if we win, obviously we go in front of Liverpool with 2 points gap, and we're about 4 points away from Man United. And man, we were about 11 points adrift from Man United not that long ago. So first of all, Jonathan, man, how do you feel about this situation, knowing a win here and we are there?
I'm absolutely buzzing. The short amount of time Tuchel has been here, it's just been, other teams have been dropping points. We've been picking up points. Everything has fallen into place for him. It's been absolutely superb. So, yeah, look, we need to win tomorrow. I've been looking at these games in blocks of 3. The first block, we got 7 points. This second game of this little 3-game block, I believe, we need to get another win against Newcastle and then another win against Southampton, because after that, we've got some tricky fixtures coming up that are going to be difficult and are going to be very decisive for our top 4 hopes. But look, if we can get there and we can keep the momentum going, there's going to be loads of teams dropping loads of points. Everyone's playing each other, like, Leicester, Liverpool yesterday. So, yeah, we're in a very good position. It's all about momentum. It's all about results. It doesn't really matter how we play. We just need to pick up the wins. So tomorrow, just want to see 3 points.
No, 100%. Taryn, man, as Jonathan said, it's very important to get these wins during this month.
Yeah.
We've got Newcastle, we've got Southampton, and then it really cranks up. We've got Atletico Madrid and some really tough fixtures for the month of March. I believe there's Liverpool, there's Man United, there's Everton. So I remember I had Aiden. I'm not sure if you guys know who Aiden is. Aiden's another very well-known account in Chelsea football community. And he was saying that this month will define whether we are in the mix of things for top four. And it seems like we are, because this will set us up nicely for the next month. Your thoughts for this upcoming match? I mean, we simply cannot slip up at the moment, right?
Yeah, we've seen that Liverpool drop points. We've seen that Everton, they played. I'm not sure if they dropped points. Everton yesterday.
They're playing right
but we've
now.
Seen that, they're playing right now. Yeah, but some teams are dropping points at the minute. And you've seen last season when we were playing, if we had a chance to maybe go 3 points clear when we were in the race for the top four with Leicester United and Spurs and other teams, we would seem to slip up. Like the game against Southampton, the game against Bournemouth, we seem to lose that game and just get a bit too cocky in that way and just kind of lose. But we really, really need to get the 3 points. I don't care how we get it. If we play park the bus and just play Timo up front, ping long balls up, I don't really care. We just need to get this win. And the top four is looking more likely now. I was a bit worried under Lampard. I did think in the end he would come through and maybe deliver it, change the tactics to 4-2-3-1 or something instead of that 4-3-3 with Kante as a DM. But I'm much more confident now of getting top four. I'm not set on stone. I think that there is going to be some bumps along the ride with Tuchel. We saw the fixture against Barnsley. That did kind of look like just by pressing us, we were kind of sussed out a bit that we maybe can't get out of the press as better as we were before, as we're better against low block teams. But we just need to keep changing up the tactics, not make it predictable against Newcastle. Maybe play Cho in a different position instead of right wing back against them. Play James there, get a bit of physicality in the team. They've changed formations a bit. We'll get onto that later. But we just need to get this win against Newcastle. And I can see us maybe finishing third or second, in my opinion. We play well.
No, for sure. Nishal, I mean, honestly, what a turnaround. One thing I want to talk to you about, Nishal, just quickly, before we get into the rest of the preview, obviously, there's a lot of talks that's been happening by just a small group, not the huge group, not by the majority, but the small group there that keeps constantly still saying that, we haven't really been challenged under Tuchel yet. He's played some Mickey Mouse teams besides Spurs, but they're also saying Spurs are being touched up by a lot of other teams at the moment. And some portion of that fan base is saying that, who is to say that if Frank was still here, that he wouldn't have got that? Do you know what I mean? He wouldn't have gone in the same run as Tuchel is going. I just want your comment on that, because personally, as I said, I mean, nothing against Frank Lampard or anything like that. But for me, from what we were seeing just before he got sacked to what we are seeing now, there's a complete contrast in the level of performances and the style of football that Tuchel has sort of implemented. I mean, is it just purely for the basis of that we played some weaker teams, or do you think that we've actually seen some really good progress since Lampard's been sacked?
It's not fair at all to attribute to the opponents. Of course, maybe we'll have easier opponents, battling relegation, or you have harder opponents like Tottenham in a London derby. But it's not about who you're playing. It's about the confidence and the mentality we had around the team. If we look at Frank Lampard, for example, unfortunately, we saw a decline in mentality and motivation. Players didn't seem like they wanted to play for the club. And the old image of Chelsea being feared in a huge club in the Premier League, every team felt like they could come to Stamford Bridge or welcome us to their stadium and get a win. Look at Man City at Stamford Bridge. Look at Arsenal and Leicester away. There were a lot of those games where we didn't perform, and it wasn't just that we were poor, but we didn't look like we were up for it at all. So putting it in a sense of opponents is very unfair, in my opinion, because the root problem goes right the way back to the players, and as I said, the motivation, what we were lacking under Lampard. With Tuchel, he has been outstanding in that. He's come straight away, got all the players right on board, and it's not easy to do, because think back to just a few weeks ago, we had a period of 24 hours where Lampard was sacked and Tuchel was brought in. And to think about how unsettling that can be, whether you're a World Cup winner or an academy product, that's a huge change for anyone in their football career. But the fact that since Tuchel has come in, we've not lost a single game, we've conceded once, and now a win, even a draw, will get us back into the top four for the first time in 2.5 months. Don't look at opponents, look at the change in mentality and the change in manager. You owe credit to someone who comes in, makes that difference instantly. Yes, I believe there are tougher challenges coming. Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, those are going to be very, very tough challenges and will really show whether we can compete this season and in the next few years. But what we need to focus on right now is getting back on track, getting results, and getting this club back to where we belong. And we're doing that. We're a result away from getting back into the top four. And while, for many that wasn't a target this season, for me included, I wanted a title challenge. With the way things have gone in the season, the slump with Lampard, the breakdown in communication, all these reports and rumours of discomfort and all of that in the training camp, if we can end the season and still get top 4, I think that deserves credit. Absolutely.
100%, man. I haven't been engaging myself into that discussion too much because that's going to create like a Twitter sort of warfare. And I wanted to stay away. But I just found it very strange that there are certain individuals that are sort of downplaying this and saying that, it's the kind of opposition. So we'll see. I mean, look, as you said, we still need to pick up the wins at the moment. And come March, let's see what happens. But John, let's move straight into the press conference now. Let's get deep into this, right? I want to bring out some of these information from our Chelsea Twitter page, and the admin sort of summarizes pretty well. Let's go with the first line here. Tuchel starts with the latest team news. He confirms Christensen didn't suffer any sort of concussion last night, just a headache. Werner should be absolutely okay to come back, but the game will be too soon for Thiago Silva and probably have it. So it's a good position to start with as to who's in, who's not. Do you fully expect Christensen to play in the middle of that 3 CBs, and also you probably expect Werner to start as well?
Yeah, just a quick one. One of the guys on this panel was actually listening to Tuchel direct. So check out Nishal's page because he had a load of quotes and there's more to come from him. So just make sure you check him out. But yeah, going purely on the Chelsea Twitter page alone, I was really happy to see that Werner's going to be back. I really want him paired with Abraham up top. And I'm pretty sure the run of games he's been given under Tuchel, he's going to continue that in this game because it's a game where we need to just start scoring a few more goals. So if we can get him back on the pitch, I'm really hoping that Werner can kind of break his duck. And with Christensen, obviously Thiago Silva out, I do expect him, like you said, in the middle of that back three, the ball playing centre back. And then as for Laqueta, probably to the right side and probably Rudiger to the left, who, has been a mainstay under Tuchel. And I do expect him to come back. And unfortunately, Zuma will drop to the bench. So, yeah, it's a bit disappointing to see that Havertz is still out. It's not. I'm not entirely sure exactly what is wrong. There's quite a few different rumours going around on social media. But, he does need to be back soon because there are going to be tougher games. We are going to have to keep rotating and have players that are willing to take on opponents. And hopefully he can obviously rediscover his goal scoring boots.
Quickly talk about this, Havertz, because he's your boy. You are don't think I've forgotten, bro. He's your boy. I remember in my channel you backed him. I just want to quickly talk about this because it's timely that he's brought. I want to hear what the boys have to say as well. Just quickly, Jonathan. I mean, this player, let's be honest, hasn't really clicked for him this season. There's been the injuries as well, and obviously the virus that he caught. He's not going to make it for this particular game. Do you feel Tuchel will be the guy that should? Because I feel like all this time throughout, we have not utilized him properly, or we have not figured out how to utilize him properly. I feel like he's a player that needs to touch the ball a lot, that needs to be the focal point as he was in Bayer Leverkusen, whereas he's more sort of a final third kind of player, someone who does the magic up front, whereas, in Leverkusen, he was doing a lot of stuff in midfield and building up and whatnot. Do you feel Thomas Tuchel will take his time with this particular player and really sort of work things out, much like sort of Ziyech as well, like sort of in training, work things out before he starts deploying him?
I've wanted Havertz for a long time. I put my neck out and said I wanted him over Sancho because I thought it was more realistic. I thought he could help us in many situations. And look, I think Lampard kind of settled on the fact he needed to be an 8 because he couldn't really fit him anywhere else in the team. And I feel like the game he played under Tuchel, when he was the attacking mid, he got on the ball a lot more. I saw him sprint faster than I've ever seen him sprint in a Chelsea shirt. And I feel like a player like him needs to be as close to the box or in the box as much as possible. Get him on the ball and get him in situations where he can affect games. Having him worrying about defensive responsibilities and being deeper isn't really going to utilise him as much. And I kind of accepted, okay, under Lampard he's going to be an attacking 8. But I feel like the further you get him up the pitch, the better he is going to be and the more he can show. And I've been defending him, on social media because certain people, have picked up on the fact that he's my guy. But look, I've seen. I wouldn't say they're excuses. I've seen, obviously, a lot of things haven't gone well for him. He's pretty. I wouldn't say alone. He's got I think his girlfriend or something with him in London. But to come to a new country, now he's got a change of manager, to not really have an idea of exactly where you're starting, to be in and out of the team. It's not easy. So I think he will start getting a run of games when he is fit. And I fully expect him to come good. It's something that's going to take time. Look, Werner is another player that clearly hasn't settled as well. He's looked better and better with every game he's played. It's all about consistency. You can't expect players to come in and out of games, start, sub, not playing, starts up. They need games. And as I said, I'll go back to that. Werner has looked better and better every game that he started and played pretty much the full 90. Expect the same with Havertz. It's all about patience. And Ndombele, everyone said he was absolutely rubbish after one season. And he's a prime example of, I'm just picking a name off the top of my head, but second season, he's looked absolutely superb in that Spurs side. And different type of player, but it's an example that some players, they just need a bit of time to adjust. The Bundesliga is very different to the Premier League. So get him close up to the box, or in the box as much as possible. Get him on the ball, and we'll see the best of him.
No, for sure. Taryn, I suppose Kai Havertz is a particular player that we could probably stay a little bit more patient. We do have the depth. Stay patient, really work things out, and then try and unleash him. Is that how you sort of see it as well?
Yeah, I just think just give him a consistent run of games with the right tactics. As Jonathan said, take up the pitch is the best Havertz to get the assists and the goals in the final third, make his late runs into the box. I don't really prefer Havertz as attacking eight, in my opinion. I think they have to do too much defensive work. He has to track the runners coming into the box. Yeah. But yeah, I just think that with a consistent run of games and a good system that suits him, not a system that highlights his flaws, but one that highlights his strengths, such as his aerial ability, his eye for a pass, his shooting from long range. I've seen it against a very good shot that was saved by Bono. But I think that Havertz is a really good player in the final third, and just give him more games and we'll see how well he spends 25 million on them.
No, for sure. ITES is a really good comment. Havertz needs a Goretzka type of transformation, perhaps. He does have, I think he's 21, Havertz. So he's got a lot of time to bulk up and be a much sort of bigger player in stature. But, he does have the strength. I've seen him use his strength. He does get bundled over every now and then. But Nishal, from your perspective as well, this is a player, when he comes good, it'll just mean so much for us. We'll just go to a different level, yeah?
Absolutely. And when he hits that form and when he gets into that position, he will be unstoppable and he will be worth every penny of that £72 million we spent. As we've discussed already, Havertz, he's a very versatile player. That's one of his strengths. He can play as an 8, he can play as a 10, he can even play as a 6. We saw that by Leverkusen. But it's clear to everyone who sees him, eye test or stats, he's a natural 10. And the problem we saw with him under Lampard was that he never played as a natural 10. Of course, we've said he played as an 8. And when you look at him being paired with Mason Mount, for example, the 8 position suits Mount perfectly. Coming back, tracking back, cleaning up in midfield, loads of space to roam into, making those late runs into a box. Whereas for Havertz, that's just playing him out of position. And it gives him the more defensive duties, which he's been criticised for, which I understand, but isn't fair when he's a more attacking player. And then when he wants the license to get forward, you've got that whole midfield gap, and you'll get criticised for not filling that up. So it's hard because 4-2-3-1 would be the perfect formation to deploy Havertz, but it's the debate on whether we shape. Comment just earlier about whether we shape the formation and the tactics around one player. It's a risky thing to do. I don't think we should do it, but I think we need to give as many opportunities for Havertz to play in that 10 to really unlock him, because it has been a difficult season. On the other hand, when we've seen a 3-4-2-1, for example, and you've got Havertz as almost an inverted forward, kind of further forward, closer to a 10, he's looked much better. He's got more freedom, more space, more license to roam and attack, and that's where we're seeing his strengths. But under Tuchel, I think it's a perfect manager to develop him and help him grow and reach his potential that we saw by Leverkusen.
No, 100% agreed, man. Nishal, really good commentary from Felix. Shout out to Felix, man. Thanks for joining. Really want Tuchel to try Havertz and Werner up front together as a 2. I've always said that this could be a possibility where Werner plays up front and Havertz just behind him as one of the 10s, or more like sometimes a second striker, and that could really work. I definitely think That's something that Thomas Tuchel probably tried down the track. Let's get back into this press conference a little bit more. Tuchel says he will focus on the details from last night. So he was talking about the Barnsley game here and won't be too critical of his players. His job is to help them understand what they can to better ahead of what he expects to be a tough challenge from Newcastle. I'll go to Taryn this time. Taryn, I feel like that match against Barnsley was actually timely. I felt that we needed a game like that to sort of just wake us up to think things are not always going to be easy. There's going to be tough games. It was good that we came out of it with a victory. So it would be a nice shock to the team that there are championship teams that can push us to the brinks. So you can imagine what Premier League teams can do on their day as well. So do you feel the same way as well, that Barnsley game probably was the right time to have that type of a game, like that intense type of game, just to wake up the players and also to show Tuchel as well, not to take any games lightly?
Yeah, with the form, I think that was a perfect time, because if it's a substantial amount of games that we win back to back to back, as we saw at the start of the season, then even when we lose a game, we're still kind of cocky, and maybe the losing run can keep going on, and we'll think, oh, we'll just get back to a winning wave again. But I think that this loss was perfect in like helping us come back to reality a bit, that this league, you might not need to be 100% in every game with the players you have, but on the other hand, you do need to be 100%, because no teams are going to let you off if you're not on your game in that game. The Barnsley game was a little bit of a shock to the system for me personally. I was expecting like a 6-0 or a 7-0 win in that game, just so we can know, Tuchel knows what he's doing in attack. So the 1-0 was a bit of a shock, and I'm sure that against Newcastle, Tuchel's going to now be more focused to saying to the boys, you know what, we can't really drop our heads. We can't really lose concentration and not lose the second balls, lose the headers as we did in that game. If we want to reach top four and we want to get above the likes of Liverpool, we still have world-class players in attack. Don't get me wrong. Mane, Salah, Wijnaldum in midfield. They still have a world-class team that can easily get top four if they just switch on and get back to it. Even Leicester, they could peel off us if we lose form. We need to be concentrated in this run, because this time of the season is so important, in my opinion. You need to string a good run of form, and then maybe if we lose a game here and there, we'll be fine in the end. But I think it's really crucial that we can be more focused and go on a good run now.
No, for sure, man, for sure. Going back into this particular press conference, Michelle, I want to now focus on this particular part. On the busy schedule, Tuchel recognised that it would have been beneficial to have more time to work with his players on training pitch, but he has got to know his team better from matches and witness the spirit and mentality of the squad during the tricky times. Honestly, we don't say too much about this. I know we do as a group. We've said it a few times, but I mean, it's so amazing to see with the short amount of time that he's had. I mean, he probably would have liked a preseason to really get to know the players, really get to know their strengths and weaknesses. But I'm pretty sure he's probably known them from before. Like Callum Hudson-Odoi is a particular player we'll touch on a bit later. Next up, it's someone that he's actually been seeing for the past 2 seasons. So, I mean, kudos to Tuchel to do all of this in such a short time. And this is, once again, a lot of people talk about experience not being so important. And obviously Frank Lampard, just before he got sacked, he was talking about how our experience can be a bit overrated. For me, this is where it counts. Like, experience is a huge factor in life, not just in football, where someone like Thomas Tuchel has come in and in such a short time really just galvanized the team. Like, how much does experience mean to you?
I mean, it's very important to have experience in management, playing the game. And I think, that was the main critique of Lampard, that he had no experience. He spent a year at Derby, and that's where the skepticism came, including from myself. In Tuchel's case, he's 5 years Lampard senior, so we've already got that age in more experience. We've got his resume, at Mainz. He took a small mid-table German team up to the Europa League and up to the top of the league, top section of the league. Borussia Dortmund as well. He really pushed that team, utilised some great attacking talents. Marco Reus, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, our very own Christian Pulisic won the German Cup. And then, of course, with PSG, he was excellent. 6 major trophies, first ever Champions League final. So we've got all this different experience in Germany, in France. And it is a new challenge in England. Any manager who comes to this country, like any player, it's a huge adaptation. And it's a huge challenge for anyone to come. But as he's spoken about, he's excited. He's looking forward to it, and that experience is what we needed. We looked at the difference between what Lampard could do with the team and what he was lacking. And the main thing was, does he actually have experience in the long term, in the next few years, to really grow and take this team forward? Of course, the main defence was he's gaining this experience on the job. But in a club like Chelsea and in the Premier League, you know, how patient can you be? And as we saw, not very patient. So yes, it's a shame that we had to go from an inexperienced legend to an experienced, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But man, and he has proven to be the right man so far.
No, for sure. Going back to this, we were saying that we were going to talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi. Jonathan, Tuchel notes players like Hudson-Odoi can offer a threat from different parts of the pitch, giving us a possibility to react and be flexible. He adds the academy is the backbone of any club, and it was good to see 3 youngsters combined for the goal last night. So obviously talking about that Barnsley one. But from your perspective, I mean, how refreshing is it to see that a manager is looking to make Callum Hudson-Odoi probably the cornerstone of this particular club and this team? As Nishal said, I mean, it's not always good to have, circulate a particular team around a player, but Callum Hudson-Odoi seems to be getting the fruits out of this particular situation at the moment, where Tuchel is really believing in him and actually publicly saying that as well, as you can see in this press conference. So how refreshing is that to see too? And also to know that, our fan base have always praised the academy, and also Callum Hudson-Odoi as sometimes deemed as could be possibly generational. It's great to see that there is a manager that will potentially unlock that.
He's come in and said so many right things. I feel like he's already gauged the fan base and what's needed as a Premier League manager. He's gone, right, I need to do these. I need to kind of get the fans on board after sacking a legend, which I think he's done really well. He's been positive. He's been confident. He's been praising players, the way he talks to them during the games. And he's identified a few players that he feels could take us to the next level that haven't maybe got anywhere near the potential or got as close as they can to achieving their potential. Hudson-Odoi is certainly one of them. And I made a comment on one of our reviews and I said that the last few games, it feels like when we had Hazard, every time the ball would go to him, and it's a very mild comparison because obviously he's a long way away from reaching Hazard's level, but when Hazard played for us, it was get the ball to Hazard, let's see what he can do. And recently it's been get the ball to Hudson-Odoi and let's see what he can do, because he's the guy that's going to take a defender on, he's going to put the ball in the box. And he's been taking a responsibility. And, this is no dig at players like Pulisic or Ziyech when he's played. They haven't really been able to do that. And again, 2 fantastic players, but right now Hudson-Odoi is the guy in form. Tuchel knows that, and he's going, I need to elevate his level to make him understand that he can be as good as people have said they're going to be. So really happy with Tuchel and the way he's talked and the way he's presented himself. And just to touch on another point that I've been reading on social media, where we said earlier about the run of games that Tuchel has had, and the opponents haven't been very good. We've been on a good run of form. We had a really, I think, 17 odd games unbeaten run earlier in the season. Yeah. I think I'm not going to look into this run of form and just say we're the finished article. We're clearly nowhere near as good as we can be. Our strikers aren't even scoring, and imagine when that does happen, how many goals we can actually start scoring. So, I think we all got a little bit too carried away on that 17-game unbeaten run. I feel like we just need to keep grounded on this one. But I'll go back to my point. Tuchel is making all the right noises, and we are only going to get better. So the fact that we're getting results, we're not playing amazing, it's great to see.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agreed, man. I love that attitude where when you don't play well and you still win, like that's when the winning mentality, that strong mentality is growing, and that's fantastic. Guys, let's move into some stats now. I want to talk about some of these stats with Chelsea versus Newcastle. Some interesting things I want to touch on here. Let's have a look. Chelsea Lockmans, I don't want to talk about that. How many times they've played and whatnot. Give me 1 second. There was some interesting stuff. Yeah, okay. Obviously, earlier on this season, we played them. We won 2-0 at St. James's Park. As you can see here, there was an own goal from Fernandes, and Tammy Abraham scored as well in that particular match. I remember that was actually a pretty good match for us. Don't really care too much about the biggest win.
I can give you one now, Miz, while you look.
Sorry?
I can give you one now while you're looking.
Yeah, go on.
So we've won our last 8 consecutive home matches against Newcastle, FA Cup and Premier League included. Haven't lost a home at Stamford Bridge in Newcastle in 9 years. So we could be going for a 9th straight home win.
That's exactly what I'm trying to find here, because it was actually in this particular article, but it's so long. But that's the one that I was looking for, that we've won the last 8 at Stamford Bridge against these guys. Longest, I think, against any other team, the home record against a particular team. So, Taryn, I want to go to you first. A lot of people say that these guys are a bogey team, and I kind of thought that as well. They were our bogey team, because I remember those days. I think a lot of us have this vision of, do you remember when Papi Cisse with that shot, how he pulled it in with Peter Cech?
I was there.
Are you there?
I was there as well.
You were there.
You were there as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't there.
That shot, that's just like planted in my head every time I think about that. There were a few other times when, when Newcastle had players like Gouffran. Do you remember they had this French player called Gouffran? Then Remy, Loic Remy used to play for Newcastle as well.
Played for us as well.
Yeah. And those, I think people are still thinking about those days where they were very, very physical and very dynamic.
We're still scarred, that's why.
We're still scarred. But Taryn, it seems like, as the boys have been saying, and what the stats are saying, we've actually had a pretty good stats record against these guys in recent times. Frank Lampard has, been able to win against them last season. This season already, Frank has got the earlier win. And at home, we've not lost against them past 8 Premier League fixtures against this team. So surely, I mean, we should be very confident here. We shouldn't be thinking, this is a bogey team that, oh my God. And the other thing, Taryn, I just want to quickly point out, I think they're out without Callum Wilson. I think he's out.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, no Callum Wilson. Yeah. But shall I start? Yeah, with Newcastle, I think that with the away form against Newcastle, it did have some issues. I think that going to St James's Park is tough for loads of teams. With a full stadium, we've seen that can really help the fans. They're really passionate in Newcastle. I've been to an away game before, Chelsea away game in Newcastle. The atmosphere is like booming. The game we lost 1-0 last season away, where Hayden scored the winner, I thought that we played all right in that game, but Newcastle just sat in a low block and just attacked us. But in the past, I think the records were Newcastle had better managers and better players such as Sissoko, Gouffran, Cisse, Remy, Cabaye, Colaccini, Krul, so many good players they had, which might have helped them stats. The game where we lost 2-0, I remember watching that. I think I was like 10 years old or something. I was crying. That was an awful game. But like later on, Steve Bruce has come in charge. I've slightly become, let's say, less worried, because Steve Bruce, if you have a slightly tactical adapt manager against him, he just kind of goes into a low block and says, just defend, and we'll go attack. But my question is, who do they pass to on counter-attack tomorrow? Joe Linton, we saw how his hold-up play against Newcastle early in the season. I thought he was poor holding the ball up. The best I've seen a hold-up play against Chelsea was Antonio last season. But Joe Linton doesn't really hold the ball up. The only hope we have is maybe get behind Rudiger, maybe force a mistake, as we saw before, maybe bully Christensen if he's fit tomorrow. Well, we don't really know what Newcastle are going to play with, but if they do play a strong team, Sam Maximin could cause issues. But we saw Reece James dominate him last season as well at Stamford Bridge. I am hoping for a win tomorrow. I don't think we should be worried of Newcastle, to be honest, unless they have some crazy game where Almiron just turns into prime Roberto Carlos or something like that. I don't even know. But yeah, we just need to hope for some really good performance tomorrow, and we'll get the win and go into the top 4.
Nah, for sure, man. I mean, yeah, I'm confident as well, to be honest, as what you said, Taryn. Nishal, I just want to quickly read this here. Newcastle United have lost 6 Premier League matches in 2021, more than any other side. The Magpies have won 2 of their past 3 Premier League games, losing the other one as many as they had in their previous 13 in the competition. In the last game, Joe Willock became the 3rd player to score in the Premier League debut for Newcastle this season. Wilson is now having an injury, which we talked about. As Taryn said, they've just won recently, I think, against Southampton. And as we just saw in that report there, they've won actually 2 out of their last 3. But if you look at their whole form, it's been horrendous. Without Callum Wilson as well, it'll be very, very difficult. I mean, do we read too much into form here with Newcastle, or are we going to expect that these guys are probably going to come to Stamford Bridge, try and be as resolute as possible, be very, very defensive? I just get the feeling this could be another one of those low block situation for us.
You always have to look at form. I think it depends which side of their form you look at. As you said, they beat Southampton recently and they've had the odd win, but they've got one of their last 6 away games and they're 17th in the table. You can't ignore the obvious stats. They're not in the best position. They're missing their key striker. Their away form's poor. They're battling relegation. So you do have to look at form. I think we're expecting a similar game to, I think Burnley is the main comparison I can think of, having to deal with that low block. And, we talk about Tuchel having maybe faced not as challenging teams, in terms of repertoire, but in terms of teams with difficult tactics, he's faced some of the toughest in the league. Sheffield United, sure, they're out of form, but they're a very tough team to face, especially when they're in form. Burnley as well, very tough low block with Sean Dyche. And we're going to see the same tomorrow against Newcastle. So it'll be a really interesting tactical battle between Steve Bruce and Thomas Tuchel. And, Newcastle, whether they'll fancy themselves or not, I'm not sure. I'm sure that while I'm still traumatised by Papa Cisse, they're still joyous and thinking, we can do that again. 9 years later, it's not too bad. But the form is in our hands. We've won, as I said, 8 consecutive home games. And Darren said it perfectly. There's a massive difference in having them at Stamford Bridge, which we're trying to turn into a fortress again, and going up to St James's Park, which in my opinion is one of the toughest away grounds to go to. And, all on closed doors, but we managed to win there this season. So without trying to bite my tongue too much, I think we did the hard part in going there and defeating them. So it will be a good game tomorrow. It will be tough to break down Newcastle. They're going to go in, they're going to be a resolute side, but we did against Burnley. We haven't lost under Tuchel. We're going for our 6th consecutive win. I believe in Chelsea, absolutely. How can you not?
100%, man, 100%. Jonathan, let's just quickly look at this particular table at the moment. Obviously, we are 39 points, just a point away from Liverpool. Shocking Liverpool form, as you can see. Man United dropping points as well. But Newcastle, just quickly, they are way back in 17th, just a position in front of Fulham. But I think when you look at the points gap, 10 points, that's just probably going to be a bit too many points, I think, for Fulham to catch up. I mean, Jonathan, I think no one really comes into a particular match to either lose or draw or whatnot. They always have that mentality to come in and get a positive result. But Newcastle being so far ahead, 10 points, they should probably start thinking that they're safe. They're not really in the relegation. Well, basically what I'm trying to say is that I don't want Newcastle to come to Chelsea and then have that relegation mentality that they're going to scrap and they're going to do everything, because that kind of situation always scares me a little bit, because some of these, we've seen it previously, right, Jonathan, where, relegation teams, I remember Wigan on one of the seasons where they won the last 6 games against Liverpool, Man United, City, Chelsea, in order to get themselves away from relegation. They did that, actually, and that was insane to see. And that's what happens sometimes with some of these relegation teams. They just get, super powered. Do you feel that, because Newcastle, obviously, they've beaten Southampton, but everyone's been beating Southampton in recent times. Do you feel there are other players that we should probably get worried about with Newcastle in terms of like Almiron, who's coming a bit good recently? Joe Willock is a smart buy, I suppose, from Arsenal. I think it's on a loan deal that they completed in January. What's your thoughts? Like, as Nishal said, he's confident that we should go out there. There was a comment that we need an early goal. What's your perspective on how this match is going to turn out?
Yeah, I completely agree. If we get an early goal, it completely changes the game, because they're going to have to come out and play against us. Looking through the last 2 games, he changed formations so many times, Bruce. In the last sort of 13 games you highlighted, they've only won 2 of 13. As I said, loads of formations. In the last 2 wins against Southampton and against Everton away, which, fair play, is a great win for them. They played 4-3-1-2 in those 2 recent wins. Now, Wilson was one of those 2. Obviously, he's out. And another guy who's out is Schär. I think it's Fabian Schär.
Oh, yeah, Fabian Schär.
He's out for the rest of the season. Fabian Schär.
Yeah.
Always count on Nishal for great pronunciation.
Get the Swiss boys
Love
right.
it.
That's all I ask.
That's true. I do apologise.
By the way, just quickly, Jonathan, shout out to Patrick Larson. This guy has been absolutely smashing it in social media. I just had to pause and say kudos to Patrick. Patrick, you know what? I want to have you very soon sometime with us boys and have a good discussion. But yeah, shout out to Patrick. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that, Jonathan.
I love Patrick. He always makes me smile when I watch his videos. Like when he says, "Hey guys," I don't know, my heart melts. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, massive shout out to him. But yeah, as I said, that player, I'm not going to pronounce his name again. He's out as well. You know, very solid centre back for them. So you know they're missing two really key players. And if you look at the two games I think it's two games in the Premier League that Wilson hasn't started this season or hasn't played this season, they've actually reverted to a 5-4-1. So they're missing their main centre back. They go to a 5-4-1. If we get an early goal, that low block, 5 at the back, and then 4 solid midfielders has to go out the window. Joe Linton could be the guy that played. It could also be an Andy Carroll because Andy Carroll's been playing a few times recently with Wilson as in the two. Pardon?
Is Andy Carroll still playing?
Yeah, he's still playing. He's been starting games. He hasn't really been scoring. He like, must be in his 30s. 30. He must be 30s, 30, 31.
Wow.
But he's been playing. And the thing is, if they're going to play that 5-4-1 tomorrow, he's not the worst guy because if you put it up to him, he will hold it up. And I did see some comments earlier about Christensen and Zuma. Christensen's probably been one of our most physical centre-backs in the last few weeks since he came on for Silva in that game. So fair play to him for stepping up. And you saw, when he did go off, we lacked a ball playing. And I know I go back to that comment again, but you need a centre-back that's willing to, pass the ball quickly or pass it long like Silva does, diagonally, to try and switch the play and to try and, get an organised defence like Newcastle at a position. Andy Carroll versus Christensen, Carroll's a big job for anyone. So I think saying it's just Christensen. But then you've got Rudiger and you've got Azpilicueta. If it's 3 against 1, we should be winning that. And you've got Mendy, who is willing to come out and collect the ball. And when I was watching a little bit of the Man United game earlier, and it was a really interesting comment from, I think it was Neville, where he was saying the two centre-backs of Man United sit so deep, De Gea's got no chance of coming out and getting it. But what the Chelsea centre-backs have been doing, because there's a 3, yes, again, the oppositions haven't tested us, but they've been a little bit higher up, which actually allows Mendy more space to come and get the ball. And in that Barnsley game, that was the first game where we started to sit deeper and deeper, which, it's harder for Kepa to come out because he's coming over 5-6 bodies. So we just need to make sure that, if Carroll does play, we give Mendy space to come and collect the ball and punch it out whenever he needs to. Because, Almiron's, St. Maximin, that's 2 big threats. And as I say, if Carroll plays, they're going to have to utilise him. But I'll go back to the start. If we score an early goal, it could be 2, 3, 4 goals. I feel like if we play 2 up top as well, we could be getting our mojo back. Newcastle won't get relegated, in my opinion. 32, wow. Younger than Giroud. Wow, he's been around for years, Carroll. But they've got too much attacking ability to go down, and Bruce is not a manager that's going to get them relegated. So whilst Fulham may be drawing at the moment, so it's 9 points, I think, the gap. I think it's a bit early for them to come and dig in relegation worried, luckily, because we're only 23 games in. So it's all about we going with the right mentality. We should turn these guys over.
No, for sure. What a comment. Maldini's middle finger. Andy turned 32 this January. Wow, man, this guy, I can't believe he's still 32, man. I feel like some of these players, they don't grow old. Like they're just stuck in a particular very sweet age and they just stay there forever. But Andy Carroll versus, as Aites said, Andy Carroll versus Christensen. Look, I'm not utterly worried because, as what Jonathan said, we've got 3 at the back. Hopefully we should be able to negotiate that. Andy Carroll can't just do it all by himself. He'll need support. He doesn't have the pace, so that's where he'll get hurt. So I think Patrick over here said something about Almiron. Almiron is someone who's been playing really well recently, so I do realize his threat. He does have the pace. He does have the quality to hurt. I'm hoping that our back 3 and with Jorginho and Kovacic, which we're going to go to right now with the formations lineups, should be able to negotiate that. St. Maximin, just quickly, guys. Nishal, I've heard that this guy's been a bit out of favour with Steve Bruce. Has he been playing? I'm not really sure.
Occasionally, I'm not too sure how much he's been playing, but I think, like Patrick says, I think Almiron and St. Maximin are going to be the main 2 threats, as we said. Sorry to kind of deviate a bit, but towards Newcastle's lineup, I'm pretty sure they're going to play a 5-4-1 because that's what they play against the big teams, to really sit back
Oh, have we lost Nishal?
backs. And as we're touching the formation,
Sorry, Nishal, we seem to have your audio dropping off every now and then.
Yeah, I think we've lost him. To be fair, haven't we?
No, I think we might have lost him.
He'll
I
come
think
back,
he was just trying to say about the whole Saint Maximin and Almiron, which we definitely think is a threat. Thompson Jones, thanks for being in the house, my man. Fortunately, Callum Wilson is injured, I think. Yeah, no, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So that's going to be a massive blow for them. And it's a good one for us. Guys, let's get straight into the formation side of things. Taryn, I'll go to you first up, my man. How are you setting this game up? I believe you're going with Caballero at the back?
Actually thinking of putting Timo Werner in goal, but actually, yeah, I think with the aerial threat that Carroll or Joe Linton can start, I think that Mendy will be really important to claiming the crosses and commanding the area, which Kepa hasn't seemed to do this season.
Brilliant. Who you got? Hold on, Nishal's back. Nishal, my man, how you doing? You're back?
Yep, sorry, connection issues. My bad.
That's cool, bro. That's cool. We're just doing the formations right now, so we'll get into that. Taryn, your right CB.
I think I'll go with Azpilicueta in that position. I think that he's the best player for that role.
You wouldn't use Reece James at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, I think we'll stick with Azpi for this game, yeah.
No, for sure, man. The middle CB.
I think for this game, if Christensen's fit, I think we go for Christensen for his. I think we're going to have a lot of the ball, so a ball playing capability is going to be quite important.
Yeah, no, he's fit. I said that he's definitely going to. It was just a headache. It wasn't a concussion or anything. Yeah. Your left centre back, probably Rudiger, because obviously he was.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rudiger. I think that he's the best in that position on his left foot and his right foot.
Boys, I really want to talk about this. I want to get what Taryn's point is. Who are you playing in left wing back?
I'm actually going to go Ben Chilwell for this game. I think that Chilwell's pace and getting behind Emil Kraft at right back. I'm sorry, Nishal, if I butchered his name. I'm really sorry, but I think it's Emil Kraft right back. I think that he's a bit of a liability in that team. I'm genuinely sorry. I don't know how to say his name.
I think you got it.
Yeah, cool.
How do you say it? Is it Fabian Schär?
Fabian Schär, I thought it was.
Oh no, Nishal's gone again. Oh, Nishal must have the worst Wi-Fi.
Just stuck on that picture of his face.
He's back. Nishal, how do you pronounce it?
I'm sorry. I think it's Emil Kraft. Like it's a Swedish name, but you're right.
Fair enough. Yeah,
you're right.
Boys, I just really want to talk about this whole Chilwell situation in left wing back. There were some quotes that came out. I wanted to get your points and the live chat. Shout out to the 38 people. There was about 42. Please smash that like button. I want to hear what you guys have to say as well, because I want to put some comments here about the whole Chilwell Alonso situation. So comment. Recently, Thomas Tuchel has come out with some quotes saying that he's spoken to Chilwell. Seems like Chilwell is a bit worried about his game time, and the whole formation change into left wing back. He's not very comfortable with that. And I tweeted out something, and some people took it a little bit too hard. Obviously, there's a lot of Chilwell fans, which is fine. I'm a Chilwell fan as well. I'm just being critical. I said that it's a bit strange that someone like Ben Chilwell is like. I was a bit sort of annoyed that. I mean, should I be praising Alonso that he's putting up mad competition for Chilwell, or should be angry at Chilwell, the fact that work hard in training. Don't complain that the formation has changed. You're at 50 million pounds left back. You mean you should be able to switch into a left wing back if need be. And now you're worried all of a sudden where Thomas Tuchel has to come to you and tell you that, look, it's fine. Just trust in me. Have the trust. You've got your game time here, so on and so forth. Just quickly, Jonathan, your thoughts. Do you feel Chilwell's a bit rattled by this situation?
No, I never know what to believe, to be fair. Unless it's Nishal doing the quotes, don't really listen to it, to be honest. So, yeah, it's difficult because, Chilwell's been, he's played a couple of games at left wing back. He hasn't looked as comfortable. I'm not going to say he can't play that role because he's only had a couple of games. I mean, both times, I think 60, 70 minutes. But he's got to adjust to it because he's so used to playing left back and not having so much reliance on his attacking part of his game. I want to see him play a few more times. I wouldn't go against, or I wouldn't be upset if he played tomorrow. But, Lonzo scored a couple of career goals against Newcastle, even the winner at home last season against in the Premier League against Newcastle. So, Lonzo, if we're looking for threat going forward, I feel like at the moment he's the guy in form, and he's the guy that may, just arrive into the box. If it's 0-0, 75 minutes, he'll wander in like he did against Burnley and put a ball in the back of the net. But I wouldn't be adverse to Chilwell playing, because in my opinion, whatever 11 we probably, I think it's fairly predictable. I'd say we've seen quite a few of Tuchel's, lineups now. I feel like 9, 10 of the 11 are pretty set. Whoever plays, I feel like will be good enough. But Chilwell will be around Chelsea for a few years. He's not gonna. He's certainly going to outlive Alonso. So I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't read too much into it. No,
fair point. Nishal, have you seen those Thomas Tuchel quotes in regards to Ben Chilwell? How he was saying that he's spoken to Chilwell, sort of said that just trust in me at the moment. Some of these lineups have been injustice, but he's probably been using Alonso for the fact that he's well versed in the left wing back position. But from your perspective, I mean, do you feel Chilwell's a bit worried about this whole situation?
Oh no. There's a comment from Anderson saying a moment of silence for my man's Wi-Fi. I think just resetting is the best thing to do, which is what he's done.
Yeah. Taryn, what's your thoughts before hopefully Michelle comes out? What do you think about those Thomas Tuchel quotes? And do you feel that Chilwell's a bit worried?
No, I really don't think it's a worry at all. I think that obviously if you're a player that's been playing week in, week out under the previous manager, and the other manager comes in and plays someone else in your position that was getting 0 game time, probably wasn't popular in the dressing room, then you're obviously going to be thinking, what's going on here? Which probably Hakim Ziyech's feeling as well. I'm not going to go into their Ziyech reports. I think they're a bit unreliable. But obviously if someone's coming in and taking your place, you're going to be worried. But Tuchel is definitely going to play Chilwell. If you look at the past left backs that Tuchel's had, such as Rafa Guerrero, Juan Bernat, they all fit the same profiles as Chilwell. A really dynamic left back with a lot of stamina who can go box to box, play in both boxes. I think that Chilwell's perfect for the system. I think the quote said that Tuchel was playing out for Alonso, that Alonso was maybe used for his aerial ability in the Spurs game and the Burnley game. I think they are really accurate, because the Burnley game, we needed his height to defend. Tarkowski, Woods, Barnes, even McNeil, who has a lot of height. But we will see Chilwell come in for games where there's less height and we need his pace in behind. So everyone who's watching this, don't be worried about Chilwell. We'll see him, and he's going to be worth every penny. Ashley Cole dubbed him, so don't worry about him.
No, for sure. Nishal, great to have you back, my man. Is your audio doing all right now?
I don't know. Sorry.
Sounds like it is. No, don't be sorry, bro. I just want to put out this particular comment, which someone had not that long ago. I wish I could just find it now, man. Someone had a really cheeky comment for you. Damn, I can't find it now. That sucks. But yeah, someone said that. Here we go. Moment of silence for my man's wife. So Nishal, hopefully that's fine. Now, look, let's get back into the lineup. We'll get everyone's thoughts from there. Taryn, let's get back into this. You've got Chilwell there in the right side. Who are you having, my man?
It's a really tough choice here, but you guys, sorry about if you don't agree with me. I'm going to go with Hudson-Odoi as the right wing back.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if Jonathan and Nishal agree. But yeah, I'll go with shall I pick both DMs?
Yeah, let's go with the double sixes.
Yeah, Georgia and Cover. I think Georgia and Cover have to be in. Best duo I think we have in terms of chemistry. They can break down slow block, shift them around.
You know what I mean? Like just
playing, yeah, exactly. Yeah, much better.
Up front, this is where it gets really interesting. Who are you going to have here?
Ooh, this is tough. Definitely, I don't know. It doesn't matter where he is, but Mason Mount definitely is at stake in this team at the minute. And other side, if he's fit, and I know he didn't play well against Barnsley, but I'd play Christian Pulisic just for that dynamism and that pace.
Interesting.
Yeah. And up front, who do I want? I think I'll start Tammy Abraham.
Wow, you're dropping Werner, huh?
Yeah, I'm dropping Werner for this game. I think he can come off the bench and cause an impact.
That's an interesting lineup, ladies and gentlemen. This looks like Taran's lineup. Tammy up front, Pulisic and Mount. Mount 100%. I mean, how can you drop him right now? Pulisic. Let's see what the boys have to say about that. Chilwell, also someone in left wing back. I'm a bit weary about that, but I do understand why Taran's gone with that. And pretty much everyone else is pretty similar. Jonathan, my man, let's go to your lineup. How much of this would you be changing?
Yeah, when I saw it said player 3 as a striker, I thought he was going to say Alonso for a second. Yeah, I want to see 2 guys up front. So I will just put Pulisic a little bit closer to Tammy and change that Pulisic for Werner, just because I feel like he's going to get a run of games under Tuchel. And you know, Pulisic will get back to top form. Hasn't been as good as late, but he's a perfect sub to come on and break Newcastle down if we need to. And yeah, Mount in behind with a little bit of space. And yeah, exactly. Bring those left wing back and right wing back nice and far forward. And again, happy for Chilwell, but I just feel like he will go for Alonso, just because, you know, he's looked comfortable in that position. And yeah, I say I feel like we're getting to understand the lineups that he's going to be putting out, and this would be as close as a guess as I could say as being the starting 11.
This would, honestly, Jonathan, this would probably be my lineup as well. Just quickly, Tammy, apparently if he starts, it'll be his 50th start or something like that in the stats, 50th start at Stamford Bridge, apparently. So that's a great moment for him. It's that front. Look, Timo Werner starts. 100% he will start. I think Thomas Tuchel really likes Timo's movement and his pace up front. So that's the only difference I'd have with you, Taran, in regards to Timo Werner. I think he'll probably start as opposed to Pulisic. I think Pulisic will probably be more of an impact player. As you said, against Barnsley, wasn't the greatest. He'll still come off the bench and he'll slowly, hopefully, develop. The only change that I could see, Jonathan, in this formation that you've sort of given us is that maybe it might be Werner up front, and maybe, like, I don't know, either Hakim Ziyech or Pulisic, maybe, I don't know. But because it's going to be a low block against Newcastle, it probably might just be like this, because you want to have that sort of figurehead of Tammy up front and then Timo Werner sort of playing in and around him, and then you've obviously got Mason Mount. So I would probably stick to that particular lineup. Guys, let us know who your lineups are in the live chat. Smash the like button as well. And all of our members in this particular show at the moment, please check out the description. All of their socials are there. Follow them everywhere. Nishal, my man, how much of this would you change? Is this something that you'd be looking into, or would you change Alonso or any other players?
Let's hope none of us cuts out. I think I'm tempted to put Zuma in for Rudiger, but I don't see that change happening. And to be honest, I don't have particular complaints about Rudiger, so we'll keep him the same. Alonso as well, I wanted to keep him on left wing back. My main dilemma is whether we go for Callum Hudson-Odoi or Reece James at right wing back, because I was tempted to put Hudson-Odoi further up as a winger, but I'm going to keep him the same.
Let's just quickly play that out. That's quite interesting as well. Even though I don't really like Reece James too much as a right wing back, because I don't think he takes the players on that much. But let's just say something in this particular mold. Let's say, would you entertain this, Nishal?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, but I think Callum Hudson-Odoi needs to be there one way or another, and it's deciding whether he's better out wide, attacking with more freedom against our low block, or helping to cover defensively as a wing back. But I think we should have more of a ball. We should have more of a game in our control. So I would keep Callum Hudson-Odoi right wing back, and I would keep Timo Werner on the left hand side and Tammy Abraham up top. So pretty similar to you and Jonathan with our 3-4-3. I think Werner has to start. You know, he's very good, and of course, Tuchel said in his press conference he's absolutely okay, and we know he wants him to be starting. But Tammy Abraham has to be there because he's been excellent. You know, I sung my praises for him in our last review against Barnsley. He was excellent, top goal scorer this season. And of course, he scored that goal against Newcastle at St James's Park. Not to mention, it was Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham making that combination to get that goal. So, you know, pretty similar team, you know, attacking, going to break down. And I think as well, Alonso and Callum Hudson-Odoi, having them as wing backs, you know, much more attacking minded than maybe Chilwell and James, who are obviously fullbacks and more defensive. So I think, you know, the more attacking, the better.
No, 100%, inshallah, I agree. That's pretty much the team that we, just going back into Nishal's team, I think that's pretty much what we've said as well. Alonso, Kalamantan-Odoi, Timo Werner, Tammy, Mason Mount up front, Jonathan. Taron's the only one that's got a slightly different team to us, but that's okay, not a problem. It's good to have a variation. Just quickly, boys, before we wrap things up, hope every one of you guys have enjoyed this particular preview so far. In regards to substitution, just quickly, I'll go to Taron. Taron, who are some of the players that you want to see come off the bench and really provide some really good impact for us and possibly down the track, put their hand up to start, I suppose?
Yeah, obviously with my lineup, I went with Pulisic starting just because I didn't think Werner was great in that game apart from the assist. He had a lot of sitters in that game. So obviously I think Timo can come off the bench, and maybe for Abraham, if we're trying to sit back on a lead and just play balls in behind. Also, the main player that I think that can have an impact is Hakim Ziyech. If he can come on off the bench, we need to see his passes. If he's playing down the middle, we need to see him playing the balls in behind. We need to see him calling for the ball all the time, being a vocal point in our team, which I think that Ziyech can be. I really want Ziyech to succeed at Chelsea, and the reports that have come out do worry me in a little bit, if I'm not going to lie. But I really want Ziyech to come on and prove to Tuchel that he's the most creative player in this team.
Taron, just quickly, man, I can't take those quite seriously about Ziyech, because he just recently said that Chelsea hasn't seen the real me yet, and they will soon. I just find it very strange for him to then say he's looking a way out. It just doesn't feel like a Ziyech thing for me to do. Why would you want to leave London? Yeah. I mean, he's getting I'm pretty sure he's probably getting paid very well. He's done everything possible that he could do at Ajax. So, yeah, I don't know if that particular quote,
the reports were from Absolute Chelsea, who got it from this. I think it was a Dutch. I'm sorry, Nishal, I don't know which company it is. It's like a Dutch journalism company, but I think they're similar to. I don't know if you guys know The Sun in the UK. It's like they can put anything out, and it's mostly unreliable. They just have a lot of followers on Twitter, so it can make it look like when someone looks at it, they're huge, like kicker or build, but really I think they're just a bit false. They put around in news, so yeah, it's fine.
No, absolutely. Welcome to the show, my man. He said the reports are rubbish, and then he said Ziyech is not the guy having a weak mentality. Honestly, he seems like the most confident fellow in that particular dressing room. Jonathan, from your perspective, who are some of the players that you'd like to see off the bench really put on a mad impact and start putting some doubts into Thomas Tuchel as to who needs to start? Because for me, it seems like Mason Mount and Kalamantan-Odoi are pretty much undroppable. They've made it very clear to Thomas Tuchel, you can't drop us. So who are some of the other players that really need to push for this now?
Yeah, the familiar players, the Ziyeches, the Pulisic's. If Giroud comes on, I'd like to see him, make an impact, because he's not quite had the rub of the green since Tuchel's come in. But one name we haven't talked about, and if we're 1-0, 2-0, we need to game manage, N'Golo Kante. If he was to come on, it'd be really interesting to see how he fits in, if that three-man midfield is a go-to.
Crazy how we're forgetting about him, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so many facets to this Chelsea side, and I just feel like we've got so much tactical fluidity, shall I say, under Tuchel. We've got so many options, for different games, different scenarios, when we need to game manage, when we need to really go for teams. We've got pace, we've got clever players, and we've got a manager that I think will utilise different things. So yeah, it depends on where we are in the game. I think the substitutions will reflect what we need to do, but yeah. We didn't see enough players in the Barnsley game that were on the periphery take the chances. So in the next few games, we need players when we need them to come on. We need them to stand up and perform. So yeah, it'll be very interesting. And again, comment about Zuma as well. If he plays, and when he does play, he needs to stake a claim, because at the moment he's out in the cold. So the only one in the defence, or two in fact, I'd say, are Rudiger and Silva when they're both fit. But we just need. To go out there in this game and get an early goal, get 1, 2, 3 goals, get the confidence up, and start getting some of our strikers some goals.
No, for sure. Just quickly as well, from my perspective, Wuxia Game Central, hopefully I've pronounced this. Why have we not used Zuma? I think, look, Zuma is you could probably only use him, I reckon, on the left CB position, but right now it's Rudiger. I don't think you'd want to use Zuma in the middle, because you need someone who's able to pass the ball. That middle CB is someone who touches the ball a lot and has to link up with midfield, has to link up with the keeper, sometimes has to find diagonal passes. So I just don't think Zuma is quite capable of doing that on a regular basis. Guys, let's get into the final segment, which is the prediction. Nishal, I'll start with you. What are you predicting for the match score as well?
Just quickly before I mention the predictions, I just wanted to say, Taryn, the source was Corriere dello Sport, which is from Italy. So just on that whole debate, I don't reliable, sort of, not as much, but I don't believe reports at all. That's just my take on it.
Me. Yeah.
In terms of predictions, I don't think many of us do anyway. In terms of predictions, as I said, I'm feeling confident. I'm looking forward to it. We've seen a lot of good things. We've also seen issues in maybe not scoring as many goals. Against Burnley, we struggled to kill the game off until the very end of Marcus Alonso. We had one goal leads and wins over Sheffield United, Barnsley, Tottenham. But this is a different team. Of course, we said Fabian Schär won't be playing. That's already a big advantage. They're out of form. They're battling relegation. Their away form is poor. I think all of the cards play into our favour. So I'm going to go for 3-0 Chelsea.
Oof, I love that. Wow. First of all, Maldini's middle finger 3-2. Hey, honestly, please, I don't want 3-2. That would be a heart attack unless it's like, I don't know, we've scored 3 and they scored 2 in the injury moment. Even then, I don't like that scoreline. 3-2 is not something I like. I do appreciate that Maldini's middle finger. Jonathan, from your perspective, 3-0 like Nishal or much tighter?
Yeah, I was going to say 3-0 to be fair. I mean, what I'd do to be at that game live to see some goals go in, I mean, whoever does, very lucky. But yeah, I mean, 3-0 is probably a fair shout, I'd say. I want to see another clean sheet. I don't want us to be nervous. And as I said, if we can kill the game off by 50, 60 minutes, we can make some subs, keep some energy in those legs. And obviously, we've then got Southampton next weekend. And then we've got a massive game against United. So it's all about just getting these games under our belt, getting the wins. 2-0, 3-0. But I'm going to say 3-0 as well, the same as Nishal.
No, man, you boys are really confident. I like that. I was probably going to say 2-0. I think a clean sheet, we should really manage a clean sheet against Newcastle, hoping that we do. Maldini's middle finger, our sponsors needed. Obviously, he's got 3. Anderson Rugby, thanks for joining, my man. I'm saying 3-1. Yeah, that's decent. Taryn, it's for you to close things off. Your prediction, my man.
Yeah, I really want to go something bold, like that. How bad I want a 4-0 or a 5-0 win, just to really get the Tuchel era. Whew, just no more sweating anymore in the game. But I just don't want a close game. I don't want a 1-0. I don't want a 3-2, especially like Maldini's middle finger said. But I think that it will be a 2-0 win. We haven't seen Thomas Tuchel Chelsea side really dismantle any team yet. I'm just hoping for some goal scorers to be on the score sheet that I really will be happy about, like Timo Werner. For me, if he comes off the bench or if he starts, and I really want to see a Tammy Abraham goal scorer in this game. So yeah, I think 2-0 is a safe prediction to make.
No, for sure. Anirudh, man, 1-0. That'll be very difficult for us as a fan base to get through that 1-0, unless it's like a, right at the end, 85th minute, it's been 0-0. It's been a grinding sort of match, and we get that, and that's a different type of elation that the fan base gets. But now, guys, honestly, it's been a pleasure. We've been going for a little while. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this preview. Let's now focus on the match. We will be here just before the match tomorrow, so please do join us. It'll probably be this, Jonathan and Taryn, most likely Nishal as well. We'll just be here just before the lineup starts, and we'll talk about the lineup, and then not going to do a watch along tomorrow, unfortunately, guys. But post-match, we will be here again. All of us, once again, not really sure if Nishal will be around, but at least most of us will be here for the review. So please join us for that. So yeah, until next time, guys, everyone, have a very good evening wherever you are, a very good day wherever you are. Until next time, see ya.